Hi guys, there has been a common theme with a lot of my clients and the people I work with lately suffering with issues around emotional eating and trying to control their eating habits when they're feeling tired or lonely or sad or stressed. This is a very insidious problem and it takes a lot more than just a few tips and tricks to cover. So in this video, I'm going to give you some tools to use not only in the moment when you are realizing that this is occurring, when you start gravitating towards the fridge, when you know you're full or you've just eaten, but I'm also going to provide you with different resources to use as preventative measures to keep this from happening in the first place, or at least not to such a high degree. I think I'm going to use this video to use a personal experience to help explain how helpful these strategies could be. Okay, so I would like you to meet LeBron. This is my baby. I got him and his brother when they were a few months old. I got them when I was very sick because I was sick of being taken care of all the time. And I thought that having something else to take care of would improve my quality of life, and it certainly did, even though they were quite the handful. So where am I going with this? LeBron's brother passed away a few days ago, and it was very unsettling, to say the least, but it was a very new experience because it was analogous to losing a family member, and I'd never lost a close pet before, so it was, it was a lot to take in and a lot to move through. We kept him home, and he passed here peacefully. We gave him some palliative care, and he cried a little, but for the most part, he seemed like he was in a better, like he was ready, I guess. Death is really hard to explain, and it brings all sorts of weird emotions out in people. So, basically, what I did on Monday, instead of running to my refrigerator and eating all of my boyfriend's Reese's peanut butter cups and his chips and his ice cream, I sat with my dog in my arms and I thought about how I wanted to really deal with the emotions I was feeling in my body, because I feel like management of our emotions is the hardest thing we'll ever learn how to do in our lifetime. And I think it's important to be intentional about how we manage them. Here, honey, I'll let you down. And becoming more self-aware and making decisions about how you're going to deal with those feelings instead of just acting them out and defaulting to what we are comfortable with or what we have always done in the past, whether it worked or not. It seemed to have worked in the moment, whether that's drugs or alcohol or food, processed, hyperpalatable food. It all isn't helpful. It seems to be helpful in the moment, but obviously it causes more problems in the long term. Not only was I able to sit with my dog as he was, as he passed, but I kind of forced myself to deal with those emotions in the moment. And I was able to say goodbye to him because I was able to compose myself. And I'm very impressed with how much I'm able to compose myself during this video. But I'm going to explain why I think I've been able to deal with this so well. So the strategies that I help people with are twofold. Number one, we're going to talk about the preventative strategies. So what do I do on a daily basis that's really, really helpful to build kind of a force field around myself and provide tools and the ability to stay composed in high stress or high emotional situations, extreme emotional situations. So number one, I meditate. If I don't meditate, I practice yoga or NSDR, which is non-sleep deep rest, which is like a body scan. So it's very similar to meditation, just something that gets you out of your body, or out of your head, I should say, and focusing more on your body and just building more awareness around your different sensations and different thoughts that pop into your mind and how you respond to those thoughts. It's really helpful in recognizing how emotions can trigger certain physiological symptoms or reactions in our body and how different strategies are helpful or unhelpful in dealing with those. So it really helps to bring awareness to, is this behavior really helping me or is it just causing more harm? So on top of the meditation or the spiritual aspect, get plenty of rest. That is a priority. If you don't have rest, your emotions are all over the place. I think we all have our own examples for that one on some level. I also make sure I'm properly nourished. So I had plenty of meals in the fridge ready to go. That was super helpful in being able to stay present and feel capable of handling the situation. And some other things that help me to stay grounded in a preventative measure when it comes to managing my emotions. And what I feel is very universal for all of the people I work with is plenty of exercise. The exercise actually has a modulating factor when it comes to our emotions and different hormones in our body. So it's very important to get regular movement of any kind. And then also getting out in nature, getting plenty of sunshine, and getting plenty of social connectivity, feeling like you're supported by others, and providing service and support to your family and friends is also another big part of that reciprocation. So those are the preventative measures. The only other thing I want to mention in that regard is routines. When we are going through high stress situations, extreme emotions of any kind, it's really helpful to have a routine or some kind of pattern to fall back on, some kind of daily ritual that you go through in a very predictable manner. It will bring a sense of comfort and you'll have a sense of agency, like you'll know what to do even in a very new, uncomfortable situation. So I had my regular meals at my usual meal times, and I had my exercise at my usual exercise time, and I just kind of carried out my day and made sure to keep those major components that help me to kind of navigate where I'm at any given point in my day. Now, what I did not do was ignore what was happening and try to avoid the situation by going right back to work. Yes, I did have some work to do, but as soon as that was taken care of, I was able to get back to grieving and taking care of myself. So I spent the remainder of the day with my daughter. I went and took her out of daycare early and had to explain the situation to her. She took it like a champ. I'm so proud of her for how mature she was about the whole situation. We buried our pup in the backyard, and she, was very confused about why he was going into the ground and when he was coming home, and it was a big learning experience. And I like to think about extreme and difficult situations and emotions as learning opportunities. And I think if we look at that as a challenge to grow and develop ourselves, I think that's a much better perspective than to always be resisting our emotions and pushing them away, because it just causes more damage and more stress and anxiety. But some other things you can do in the moment are, number one, breathe. Any kind of breathing exercises, any deep breathing is going to be helpful. Journaling, meditation, getting out in the sun, exercise, and spending time with loved ones, calling a friend. Those are all going to be really helpful in the moment, dealing with really high stress situations, so you don't find yourself turning to food to cope, soothe, or medicate. I hope this video was helpful. I thought about it for a long time, trying to decide if I wanted to divulge something so personal on YouTube. But I think these things are important to talk about because everybody, well, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people have dealt with the death of a pet or a loved one and have had to work through those emotions, and maybe they struggled a little bit, or maybe they were able to come out feeling like they had learned something and they had grown a little bit from the situation. So I hope that deeply for you. And if you have any more questions about problems with emotional eating or cravings or problems of living this healthy lifestyle in a social context, then make sure you click the link in the description box below and schedule a free consultation with me, and we'll get to the bottom of what's going on with you and what barriers are keeping you from acknowledging the positive outcomes of your health journey. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one.